Welcome to Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. This podcast was created for the boomer woman leaving corporate, and now you're looking to reinvent yourself, become an author, an entrepreneur, a podcaster. Well, each episode will leave you with clarity. You will come away with the yes, I can and yes, I will reinvent myself mindset. So come on, let's do this. I'm your host, Margot Levette. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Another episode, Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. Well, I don't like to timestamp episodes, but when we look at what's going on in the world today, this dreaded COVID-19, I wish we could call it another name, but it is COVID-19, which is making history. I am honored today to have a conversation with some trailblazers, a group of ladies who got together and wrote a phenomenal book before we even knew that this was going to be a big life changer in society. So Trailblazers Who Lead is the name of the book. And we're having a conversation with women who saw a need and they continue to work that need out, which is full of inspiration. I would venture to say probably how-to information. But don't we all need inspiration these days? So welcome, ladies. First person I want to hear from is the fearless leader of this group, Miss Kearn Cherry. My goodness, Kearn, how is it that you were able to even assemble this fabulous group of ladies?
Well, I tell you, some of it, I always say God just intervenes. I really, Margot, when I first sat down after success last year, books are not always, writing is not always my thing, but I knew I needed to do something. And I knew there were women who were doing amazing things. You know how you bump into women all the time and you say, I didn't know you do that. And I'm like, okay, so I realized after doing an event at that level that there were many women who don't have or didn't have the platform to bring to life what they do, so that other people can know what they do. It's one thing to be doing amazing things behind the scene and all that, but it's another thing sometimes that other people realize, hey, she's doing something fantastic and we should be a part of that. And so I put it out there. I was pushed. My production manager pushed me to go ahead and do it. And of course, some people that I knew personally, like Arlana, I just told them, I said, hey, you need to do this, and then I sent it out and I tagged a bunch of people. I'm like, hey, I'm doing this. And so then people like Sheila just came on and she said, hey, I've been thinking about it. I just need to do this. I'm like, oh, really? And so people like Obioma, I've been following her for a while. I just, just put it out there. And they're like, look, I want to be a part of this because I have something I want to share. And because they are doing fabulous thing. And Paula told me, she said, I've been following you for years. I'm like, yeah, really? And so, and that being said, I'm like, okay. She said, I want to be a part of this. And so anyway, I just enjoy connecting with people, but I also like seeing people, bring their stuff to life and beyond just your community. Your community knows you, right? Your backyard knows you. They know what you do. But does the world know what you do? Because we are impacting the world in some way or another. And so I'm like, I'm going to use my platform to help other people create their platform. So
that's where it all begins. It's imperative that we work that way. But you know what? I want to bring in the rest of the ladies, but I'm hearing some feedback, and you know what? We're not going to cut this part out because this is how podcasting go. Everybody, just check and make sure that you're not on signed on your phone and on your computer, because I'm getting some feedback from somebody from somewhere. I don't know where it's coming from. Just everybody, we'll just take a moment to check that. And hey, it doesn't stop anything. That's the beauty of podcasting, you know. And these ladies are so transparent that this type of thing does not even faze them. All right. So let me introduce everybody before and call out all these fabulous authors by name. We all met Kearn Cherry, which is awesome. And we understand why these ladies are even here. But we have Sheila Farr. Sheila, you want to give a little wave there so that we know who you are? Sheila Farr, Obioma, Martin. All right. Paula Hutchison. Yes. And Arlana Hargrave. These women stepped up to the plate. So the next voice, and the first person I will have questions for is Sheila Farr. Sheila. Yes. You are now an author. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I love the energy of this group. I love the energy of this group. But Sheila, you are an author. You are a trainer. All of you are from the Biloxi, Mississippi area, correct? No? Oh,
I don't
okay.
think so. Yeah.
Okay, that's one assumption that I made that was incorrect. Okay, all right. But you are an author and you are an entrepreneur. And I love when you say that you are an eternal optimist. I love that. So I'm asking you, what did you see needed help to create? What was missing in the world that you created so that now you're able to talk about it in the book here? Give us a snapshot about your chapter.
Well, I think for me, I work in the medical field and have for over 25 years. And I think the thing that I saw most frequently was people struggling to do different things. It's you start talking to people and you learn a little bit more about them. And you learn that everybody has a message and everybody has gifts that they need to use. And so I think the thing for me was just finding ways to help people overcome the negativity that they encounter whenever they do take that step of faith, whenever they do step out into a new business. So for me, I worked in a medical practice, but I also have my own business as training. I do professional and personal training. So what I would encounter a lot of times is just people that just had no clue which way to go, and they were paralyzed by fear. You know, so how do you overcome those things, and how do you really kind of dig down and find the courage to expose those treasures that are hidden in each person? You know, how do you find that voice? So, you know, and having experienced that myself, I mean, we all have through our lives. You know, just for me, I just wanted to say, hey, in business, here's a few things that you can try, and on a personal note, here's some more things that you can try in order to overcome those fears, overcome the negativity, and just be bold and move forward. So,
wow. So you not only give the technical how-to, you also cause people to look on the inside, because at the inside, if we don't take care of that, then the technical is not going to work out too well for us. Is that your part of your message?
I agree. Yes, and it is, because so often people flounder in business. A lot of times I see that. Because they're not consistent, and they're not consistent because they don't really know. They don't know themselves. They haven't taken the time to honestly take stock of themselves. That everybody wants to be successful, but really, what does that mean? You know, what does that look like? It looks different to different people. So understanding yourself and knowing what's going to be the best for you is going to make you just incredibly successful and will allow you to blaze trails for sure.
Oh, yeah. Because you are bold enough to approach the inner me.
Exactly.
That is phenomenal. You don't hear a lot of people willing to dig that deep anymore. But I just have one final question. Do you feel where we are in history is causing us to take a deeper look and really be honest, or are we able to still skirt around things and still be okay? What's your answer to that?
I don't think it is. I think that the world is forcing us, and especially what we've experienced over the past couple of weeks, right? Everybody to kind of slow down and take stock, of where they are, who they are, and, what's really important,
Yeah.
and how they want to move forward. So I think that's huge in all of our stories. I think, just taking a moment to slow down, breathe, and just really do some amazing things. We were called to do amazing things. Stop being paralyzed by fear. Just be bold. And like I've said it a zillion times, I'll keep saying it. You aren't for everybody, but you're for somebody. God gave all of us gifts. He equipped us all differently so we could help others and serve. So it's time for us all just to kind of hold hands together. And that's why I love this book so much, because it's all different stories, but it's the same story. It's all just interwoven together. So it's really cool.
What an awesome book. We are off to a great start already. Give us the title of your chapter, please, Sheila.
My chapter is Helping You Find Your Voice. So.
All right. Powerful, powerful thing. When you find your voice, that is amazing, amazing. Wow. Okay, let's hear from Ms. Obioma Martin. This lady is, oh my goodness, transformational speaker, BREATHE coach, and you are going to expound upon that a little bit. That caught my eye. And you are an ordained evangelist, among so many other things. So tell us about the need that you saw, and how did you feel it when you were submitting your chapter to the book?
Sure. So, what really rung true for me is what it means to be a trailblazer. And we're all trailblazers, right? But we don't always know that we're blazing the trail. We don't always know that we're called to do that. And for me, it was really about, will you answer the call? Will you say yes? And too oftentimes in society, we see a problem and we have a choice. We can say, wow, that house is on fire. Or we can say, help, that house is on fire. Help me put the fire out. Right. And so for me, being a part of this book and being a trailblazer in my own right, it was more about me not walking by and saying, wow, that house is on fire, but actually jumping in and not even waiting for anybody to help me, just jumping in and saying, I'm not going to let them burn. I'm not going to let my sister burn. I'm not going to let that family burn. I'm not going to let the children burn. I'm going to jump in, and whoever is with me, come on and hook your caboose to my train, because we're going to put this fire out.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Instead, we have been bystanders for so long until it is just utterly ridiculous. I see that you are in the process of opening up a home for battered women. So you definitely have to stand in that gap, full-fledged, full throttle, and with all of your energy. As a transformational coach, do you require it of your audience and those that you address? Do you require it of them to take ownership of the moment there, or whatever they are experiencing, so that you, one by one, you draw us into become a participant? Don't just become just don't be a spectator. What's your thought on that?
So I am both confrontational and carefrontational. And so I often tell people, I'm really not interested in your money if you're not going to do the work. So I'm not that person, because I am committed to your breakthrough. I'm showing up because you have a challenge, you are stuck, and it is my passion to help you get unstuck. It is my passion to help you to kind of get from all of the smoke and really cut through so that you can see what's possible. Because too oftentimes, I don't care what your title is, I don't care what your economic background is, or any of that things. As a female, we still go through life and can get stuck.
Yes.
Life will show up and literally paralyze us or take our voice away. And so I just decided, because I was that person that was stuck. I was that person that was depressed. I was that person that felt like my voice was suffocated and nobody could hear me. And I also was that very successful person that everybody looked at as being this powerful person, but did not understand that what you saw behind the smile was a broken person, was a depressed person, was, you know what I mean? And too oftentimes we get caught up with, the paparazzi of it all. And, oh, she got money and she got a business and she got this and she got that, but you don't know the cost that I'm paying.
Oh, wow. Mm.
You don't know the cost. And so I just really got tired of wearing that mask. It really got too heavy. I got tired of lying, saying that I was okay, and I wasn't.
Wow.
And I wasn't.
That is, this book is just powerful. What you all are bringing to the table, how you are freeing people. It sounds like you are really literally tearing the mask off of the person that really wants to be free, but she doesn't know how to. She doesn't know how to let herself be free enough to be exposed and be herself so that she can really blossom. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Dr. Johnny Parker was on the show about 3 weeks ago, and he talked about our front stage and our backstage. And it was fascinating when he said that he was very influential and he had a lot going on. The front stage, what everybody saw was just, he was on TV, he was everywhere, he was jet setting, he was living the life. Everything that everybody else would want to be, he was doing it. But on the backstage, he said his marriage was in shambles. And so that's what made me think as I hear you speak, you were probably in the same boat. That front stage was just, oh man, what I would give my left
right
to be Obioma. I would give everything to be Obioma. But then you say, girl, if you could just see what's going on in my closet here, you would think twice about that.
Yes, absolutely. 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 And so for me, being in this book and being transformational, I really require women to just own their truth and to take off the mask, because I'm not here to judge. And my thing is, we all have dirt. We all have dirt. So you don't have to, put on this fake facade like you got it all together. If you hurting, I'll cry with you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's important that you get from where you are, you process where you are, you process the pain, but you don't allow the pain to paralyze you.
Got you. Just one final question. In fact, facing what we are all facing now, working, unemployed, whatever our state of being is, how important is it that we face who we are and own who we are?
It's very important, because you know what? If you continue to stay where you are, you're not going to get better. You're not going to get better. And what I've been telling people is that when this is over, you need to position yourself to come out on top. This should not be a vacation. You should be in the lab working on your inner self, working on that inner me, getting your mindset together, as well as your health and your finances and your relationships and all that kind of stuff. I like to say this is a divine pause. And people are always asking me, how you doing? And I'm like, COVID has been good to me. And they're like, what? Yeah, COVID has been good to me because it has allowed me to get regrounded. It has allowed me to deal with stuff that I was working through so I wouldn't have to face the pain, so I wouldn't have to face the problems. And so COVID has forced me to be still, to hear from God, and to face all my issues.
I think you need to create a meme, because honey, you said what a lot of people wanted to say, should have said, and you are doing it. So, my God, and I know this book is only going to get better and better as we go on to Miss Paula Hutchison. Oh my goodness. This lady is a cosmetologist, has her own salon, and you all are going to be the cosmetologists, you all are going to be the next billionaires, because honey, after COVID is over and we can get back in them salons, baby, it's on. Right. Yeah. I love scarves, but I'm so sick of them. You know,
Yeah, it's been interesting. It's definitely been interesting times. So I know that I can expect that.
well, I know you geared up and ready for it. And thank you for thinking about everybody as a whole, as far as a salon owner, because I know here in Southern California, most people have been abiding by what Governor Newsom and Mayor have put out as far as reopening, and they're not reopening those salons, you know. So thank you for, you know, just being mindful of everybody. But you're by profession a cosmetologist, but you are now an author, speaker, and educator. So what did you second to none salon?
Yep,
That says a lot. I'm sure that there's a story behind that.
there is.
What
That's
did
actually what my component is about, is how that even came about. Where people like, oh, that's such a catchy name, you know, but it came really from a place of hurt, of an incident that happened to me by a mentor that I just really thought, like, she's the best. And while she may have just been critiquing me, she didn't critique me. She didn't come to me with it, but she went around the way to someone else and they brought it to me. And so I formed my salon more out of the name. Was actually a rap group at the time. I just liked the name. And in my infancy in business, I formed it at 24. So I formed my business more off of a place of hurt and always trying to prove something. But now as I've gotten a little older, I realize I don't owe anybody anything. I've done my work. I've done my time. And I've learned now that second to none doesn't mean that. It has created a very positive lifestyle and been a launch pad for me and so many others within my community from where I'm originally from. I'm originally from Louisiana to now where I am now in Arizona. So it's been an amazing journey. It has truly been second to none. And so that's basically what my story is about.
Well, you know, I read that your salon is a safe space. And I know that when I go, oh my goodness, the conversations all around you. And I never will forget when my sister passed, I went to get my hair because I had already been talking to Sean about getting the chemicals out of her hair. How are we going to do this? And my sister passed before any of that work could happen. And I felt it welling up while I was there in the salon. And I just started boohooing and crying. And she just took me to the side and just talked to me. And it was like, she didn't even miss a beat. And I know that Sean is used to that. And it seems like you created a safe space in your salon and you have you open up your doors the same way to people. Sounds like when you were trying to prove yourself, it opened up a part of your heart where you almost had to put that type of atmosphere.
Definitely. Definitely for me, of course, come from a teen mom background. So a lot of times we're statistically already predispositioned in society that we're not going to succeed. And then my daughter is disabled. So again, you're just constantly being told that you're not going to succeed. So just all of those things just really drove me to provide a safe space experience, because I thought in the salon I was in a safe space, but hearing what was said about me did not put me in a safe space. I actually ended up leaving like a year later, and I started my own salon. But since then we have, and not a slight to her, but it just, to me, it was a catalyst, certainly a catalyst. And in that time, I found that so many people were going through so many things. Of course, they come to the salon. It is a confessional, if you will. People come in, they bare their souls. They tell everything that's going on with them, and you carry that with you. And so in the process, I started creating something called Stiletto Talks. And what we do is we create safe spaces for women to discuss their mental health, their well-being. Being an entrepreneur, it is very difficult to wear a lot of hats because you're succeeding and failing in open public. And, you know, if you fail, people just move on. People are so detached. Of course, COVID-19 has caused you to rethink that, but we're just expected to move on. We're expected to move on right now, you know, but I think this has given us a vulnerability to be human. And people realize like we are human as entrepreneurs. And so that's basically what I do now. But it started originally just from being in the salon and just those conversations. And that's ultimately what has provided us with a space now for scholarships, for creating panels for women from all different backgrounds to be able to come together and provide that safe space for someone else. We always say we never leave a sister like we found her. And so that's just really important to me. We never want to leave anyone like we found them. We want to leave them better. for the better. And so that comes back down to interdependence, which is what my basically what my whole story is about. My title is How Interdependence Created Second to None. Without community, without my sisters, even in a setting like this, with a collaborative book, without things like this, you wouldn't know who I am. You wouldn't know anything about me. You wouldn't know anything about Second to None. You need people. And I know we live in a society where everybody's, oh, I can get it on my own. I can do everything on my own. No, you cannot. You cannot heal while you cannot heal in the same environment you got sick in. You certainly need that interdependence to help carry you and lift you, especially when you're not always in the right headspace to be able to succeed.
You said a mouthful. You have said a mouthful, as all of you ladies have. I'm almost speechless, and that's hard. That's hard to get me almost speechless, but I am almost speechless. Let me take a quick break here so I can do this ad read real quick, and then we have one final author that we're going to hear from. I am so impressed with you ladies, the power and the energy. I really, really am. But let me do this ad read real quick. Podcast Academy Online was created for the adult ready to envision, create, and launch their podcast at their own pace. With access to resources that build vital building blocks such as media host sites, show art, royalty-free music, the legalities of podcasting, and more. Students are challenged to discover the parts of their inner man and to learn podcasting from the inside out. Self-paced, weekly Q&A, a treasure chest of resources, and more to come with becoming a monthly member at $19.99. Go to podcastacademyonline.com for more information. That's Podcast Academy Online for more information. All right. That's for those who want to really become podcasters and learn it the adult way. One last author, and that means nothing. It does not negate the power of this lady's story and her journey. Arlana Hargrave. Now, this lady is a nurse, been a nurse for 28 years. Wow. And don't we need you all? My daughter is a nurse. She's on the front lines also. We need you guys, but you have dovetailed into real estate. You are an educator, an entrepreneur, of course, a consulting. You are not just a nurse, you are a nursing supervisor. So when you looked around and you were given the opportunity to be a part of this collaborative work, I understand that you survived, let me read this, abusive relationship. And that caught my eye because we always hear about the women who are in the abusive relationships now that we are all sequestered together. We are sheltering in place at home. But you came through that. You came through the abusive relationship. You relearned yourself. So now tell us about your chapter.
Well, first of all, let me just say I'm just so blessed to be in the company of these other ladies. I had no idea really that our stories, the four of us, our stories really do go together. It's just amazing how God works to put all of us together, but especially the four of us today. Just listening, I'm just in awe of how He works. I came to this group, of course, Kearn Cherry. I've been following her too. And whatever she says to do, that's what you do. So she said, you really need to do this. And I really didn't know what I was going to write about, but I thought it's time for me to talk about this. I had never talked about it until last week on another podcast that she had put together. And that was my very first time talking about it. Even she had no idea that I had gone through all of that until then, you know, and just knowing about the story. But I just felt like it's time for people to know you, besides what they just see. I mean, to really know you and to know that they too can come through anything, you know, and to be able to connect with others in similar situations, because people look at you and they think, oh, you have it all together. Just like I think Obioma was saying, they don't know what you've been through. They don't know what all has happened to you to make you the person that they see before them. So for me, it was just about giving people a little bit more information about how I got to this place. Because, you know, at that time, I was not this person, but through that and coming through that and learning myself is how I came to be this person.
Mm. It sounds like you are also a person that has faced your owls and bears and tigers that growl at night, and you are now in a place of peace. You chewing on them fruits of the spirit, and just that you have no shackles. It does not hold you the way that conversation would have. Am I hearing you correctly?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you were talking about the people who are in these relationships during this time. When I think about how I would have been at that time, it just makes me just sick, because if you would have been stuck with that person, it would just be horrible. And at that time, I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody because it's embarrassing. I was master's prepared, professional, this, that, and the other. And here I am in an abusive relationship. It's embarrassing. Another reason, because the person, you know, people tell you, oh, no, you shouldn't be with this person, you shouldn't be with that person. And when you go ahead and marry this person, then it's like, you got to make it work, because you don't want them to be right, because that means something is wrong with you, because you shouldn't have done it in the first place. You know, it's just a whole guilt trip. And then my children in that, and changing and leaving and coming back, and all of the things that go through. It's just a whole lot of guilt, a whole lot of guilt. And to put it out there just so people can know, you know, these things, you know, however bad it may be, you know, you have people that you can talk to. You have people that you don't even know who have been through some of the same things. That was my main reason for writing what I wrote for this book.
Got you. I just have one final question. Arlana, do you find that when you're coming out of a situation like that, that you just come out of it and don't try to fix everything, don't try to fix everything that was perceived to be broke, fix yourself, and what you are shameful of, you can't try to fix all of that. It's just too much. Am I looking at that correctly? You fix what you can, and you keep on stepping and ask people to forgive you and keep on going. If it affects your children, then you say, I did the best that I could, and you keep on going so that guilt doesn't hold you. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Work on yourself. Work on yourself. And once you start to work on yourself, you'll know who you need to talk to, who you need to ask for forgiveness from, because you have alienated them in some way or other. You'll know what you need to do and what you need to say.
Wow. I tell you, Trailblazers Who Lead. Kearn, Cherry, you put one heck of a line up together. It is my pleasure to meet with you ladies today. I just have one final question for each and everyone, and we'll begin with, I think we'll keep the formation going. We'll start out with Sheila. In writing your chapter, and even thinking about it now, when you faced yourself, in what way did it actually heal you? Because I know when I was a part of a collaborative work, I felt a sense of healing. It was one more layer of healing and transparency that I was able to own. So yeah, let's let the world know what if it's just one layer. Maybe it wasn't bombastic. Oh, I'm free. Yes. Doesn't have to necessarily be like that, but what really, yeah.
I think for me, and I talk about overcoming naysayers and listening to the positive voices in your life and the positive influences in your life. So that will open you up to do the things that you were called to do. And what I found in writing my chapter was that I was my own biggest naysayer. So I was, in fact, the person who was holding me back. So that was huge for me, really huge for me. And just trusting God to give me the courage to step out and do the things that I know that He had called me to do my entire life. And me just sitting on the back row watching everybody else, do the things that were for me. And me just not stepping up and taking my place, just stepping into what was he had made for me. So that's what it was for me.
That's huge. That's huge. Obioma, let us have your moment, please.
It was, it caused me to revisit the journey. And the journey was very rocky, and it was filled with a lot of betrayal. And so, but I got over it, like I'm still here, I'm still standing. And so it was like, it didn't break you, and continue doing you, continue in spite of, continue doing you.
Yes. Wow. Another powerful nugget. I hope that everybody's taking notes, because these ladies paid for this information. They paid to get this information that they are giving to you right now in a nutshell. So take note, everybody. So Paula, tell us something about how you healed from this.
To be honest, I was at the last week. I was in DC, and I just finished the training, and I was really excited. And I actually wrote all of mine in one day because I was so full from the experience. And in writing, I did all the crying, all of the purging. And number one, I realized how far I came. And so for me, through how I healed is, number one, in the book, I said what I said. Number two, I don't owe anyone anything. And number three, it's my story. Whether it's ugly to you, whether it makes no sense to you, that's my life story. And you're going to find there's some parts of your life that don't make any sense to anybody else, but that's your story. It's going to touch somebody. And I hope that by healing myself, by getting it out of me, because I didn't realize how much of that was still on the inside of me. I didn't realize how functionally dysfunctional I was. So I healed. I'm in a good space.
Well, it sure sounds like it. Yeah, pictures falling here. And Arlana, take us there. You round us out, please.
Well, for me, just writing these things down just made me just know I was doing the right thing. I can just say, I had never written down anything. It just helped me just to know what I was feeling at that time. Even though I've been through it and everything, it just helped me to know I was doing the right thing, so somebody else can see and know that there is hope, there is still life, and anything is possible, and you will get through it.
Wow. Kearn Cherry, look at what you have done. What are your thoughts now as you, and we'll let you have the last word. What, as you hear these fabulous authors bring the book to life, how are you feeling right now?
Well, I'm glad to, and this is just 4 out of the 28 ladies that are sharing in this book, but it's great to see that people are able to actually put their words down and be willing to open up and share something that's important to them, and to show that you too can do this, and to be able to build a platform from their sorrow, and to be able to tap in to just being able to help somebody else. Many people don't get sharing your story. It's not because it's your story. It's because it's there to give to somebody else, to empower somebody else to come through their transformation, to find their journey. to get out of a situation they're in. A lot of people don't understand that. Your testimony is for somebody else. God wants us to be a testimony for him. He wants you to use your voice, to use your abilities to help somebody else. We do a lot of talk, but when you start walking in it and sharing and stepping up to the plate and saying, you know what, I'm going to do this not just for myself, but maybe there's a woman out there, maybe there's a client out there that needs what I have, right? That's sitting inside of me. We all have talents. We all have gifts. And I believe that it's just, it's really disrespectful to God when you don't use them and you don't share them. It's like you say, oh, I'm God-fearing and I'm all this and I'm a Christian and I'm all that. Hey, so what you going through? Does anybody know? Oh, you keeping that for yourself? You don't realize that somebody needs what you have? I mean, that, a lot of powerful speakers talk about this all the time. Yes, it's your story, but your story is for somebody else. Yes. And it's going to help you. And you're going to be surprised. It will empower other people, and people will start calling you and saying, hey, can you come share that story? Can you come tell our people, and share with them what you're going through, in hopes that we're going to tap into these people and bring them into a transformation they didn't even know was there. So I am just thankful. I mean, listening to these women share their story vocally and being able to get a chance, and I get the sneak peek of being able to read it a little ahead of everybody else. But, just having that opportunity for me was a blessing for me. I just consider it a blessing.
Well, Kearn, what's next? What's next? Where can we get copies? Will it be on Amazon? What's going on with distribution?
So it will hit all the platforms. We will go in, and we're gonna be a bestseller. Yes. We're gonna do that bestseller campaign. Yes, it'll be on Amazon. But of course, I'm about promoting my ladies, and I want them to buy it from us, right? I want them to buy it from the women. So right now they can email me, and we'll start. People are gonna start seeing it out on all the social media platforms. Our ladies will get their own link so that they can promote it out as well. But Kearn at prnhomecareservices.com. They can send that over to there, or and of course it'll be on my website, kearncherry.com as well. But as soon as we're wrapping up right now, we're working on the wrap up, the ladies will create their own link, their PayPal link, so that they will be able to push their book as well. Because I want them to buy from these ladies who are sharing part of their life, just a piece, a chapter out of their life that they're sharing with everybody else. So yeah, but if they send it to me, I'll be sending it out, and so that everybody can be a part of it. Also, we're going to do a book signing at my Power Up Summit, which at the pace everything's going, thanks to COVID, it may be one of the few live events in the world coming up this year. But these ladies are going to be a feature inside of that as well. So we'll do our book signing at the summit and have some of them speak in a panel discussion as well. So, hey, it won't be the last you hear my co-authors, our trailblazers. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I tell you what, my territory has been enlarged because of this opportunity. Thank you, Kearn, for bringing these fabulous ladies into my space. And if that can help be of service to any of you ladies at any time, do know, and I mean that because I believe in your stories where you've been. So many of you are a mirror where I've been, and my thoughts. So let's not be strangers. Let's make sure that we are able to get this book out to help a lot of people. Because as Obioma says, that front stage, that backstage, everybody's looking good, but oh boy, don't pull that curtain back and it's a whole nother ball game. So it doesn't have to be that way. Not when they have access to ladies like you, and the energy and the synergy and the yes, you can. That's what you ladies brought today. You gave hope. You gave energy. You gave how-to, inspiration, and just a bucket full of information. And for that, I say thank you. So it's always hard for me to end another, wow, we're right at an hour here. So we better close it out. I always tell everybody, listen more than one time. These ladies gave you so much information. It is worth getting out pen and paper. And we're all at home. Most of us are at home. Even if you're working from home, take time to listen to these ladies, because the information that they have for you, if it's not for you today, it may be for tomorrow, or I'm sure someone that you know. You be a resource, you collaborate, and you be a conduit so that this information can flow out, okay? You take that upon yourself to do that and be that. So I am Margot Levette, her business, her voice, her conversation. I will see you back next week with a brand new episode. In the meantime, take another listen. Bye-bye now. I want to thank you for listening to Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. Couple of things that I want you to do right now. Go to my website, pick up a copy of Her Business, Her Voice, Her Reinvention, how I went from game show hopping to international show host, author, and speaker in 1 year. Number 2, please freely listen to each and every episode. Share them out with your family, friends, the men in your lives. And then number 3, get in contact with me, one of the experts that have been on the show, because I want to make sure that you reinvent yourself. I'll be back next week with a brand new episode here on Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation.